Hela Mchangani this week takes you back to Uasin Gishu County, the home of champions. Last week, we focused on demystifying the construction of greenhouses with Vincent Munene on Dell's farm. Still on Dell's farm, we speak to Stephen Washira, who will be explaining to us the process of growing mushrooms, and later speak to Daniel Rotich, the founder of Dell's farm, who will then talk about his profits. Welcome, Washira, Stephen, to the show. Yes, Hela Mchangani is an educative agribusiness show.
Okay.
And we hope to, inform farmers on what you're doing. And today we are talking about mushrooms. So you can start by, showing us the process of growing mushrooms. I know it's a bit of a long process. But I'm sure we'll cover everything that's needed.
Okay.
Yes.
Welcome, Diana.
Asante.
And my name is Stephen. We are working in Dells. Now, here in Dells, we deal with the farming.
Yeah.
As you can see, how the farm is just a small farm, 2.5 hectares.
Yeah.
Now we have different varieties of farming, as mushroom is the key. Now we have different varieties of mushrooms.
Yeah.
Now the commonly known as is the button mushrooms.
Yes,
now
button.
We have so many different varieties like shiitake, we have nameko, we have tabera, we have oyster mushrooms, and all those ones are different varieties of mushrooms.
Okay.
And they are good, but the commonly known mushroom is the button mushrooms.
Yeah.
And it has even the good market in the marketing, because here we want to earn something.
Okay.
Yeah, so here we deal with button mushroom, and as you can see now, the first process in button mushroom or the agaricus mushroom is the main substrate is this wheat straw. Now the wheat straw, because we have different varieties of the straw, the key of the wheat straw is that it has its own nutritional value for the mushroom. It itself, it has the wheat straw itself, because we have different varieties of the straw. We have the oat, we have the barley and such like. But the one which is recommended and the one which is the best and the one that can give you a good production is the wheat straw. And also it has the best nutrients for the mushrooms.
Where is it that you get the wheat straw from?
Now, as here most of the farmers here in Uasin Gishu, they are large-scale farmers of wheat.
Okay.
So we have that advantage of getting the straw here from the farmers. We book from the farms of those who grows the wheat, and then we correct it. We have our transport of our lorries. We take that straw from that farm and then we bring it here. In mushroom, what is the key in mushroom is the consistent, so that when you get into the market, there's no time you get out of the market. You need to have consistent in the market. Now, when we get the wheat straw, we stock so that we can go throughout the year without buying another. Now, this is the first process. The straw is here. And now,
this is where you store it.
This is where you store it. And also in the store. You still store in our stores there, as you can see. Now, the reason why we put it inside the store, because first of all, when you put outside, there are some bacteria, micro and macro bacteria. When you start pre-wetting the wheat straw, so when we expose to the sun, or in particular to the rain, when it gets water, those micro and macro organisms will start making the wheat straw to decay. So it might not go for the duration of that 1 year. So you need to put it somewhere in a safe place. Either you cover it, as you can see, with the polythene, so that the process that you start may continue well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after you've stored it here, and then what is the next process?
Now, from here, now you can see that this is our storage.
Yes.
Now we go to the first stage. Now the stage where you go is where we say we start composting the substrate.
Okay.
Now in that the composting area is where we call the yard. Now after moving from the store, we put it in the yard. Now the yard, you can cement the yard because mushroom deals with hygiene. You can cement the yard or you can use the polythene. You put your polythene paper and then you need to fumigate the polythene, the area where you are doing the composting, so that you eradicate all the germs. You get rid of all the germs that might affect the quality of that substrate. Now we start now the process. Now the process starts immediately after taking it to the yard. You start pre-wetting now, because as I was telling you is that immediately you start the pre-wetting the substrate. That's the first process. You can either use the sprinklers, as you can see. You can dip the substrate in the water. Either you use the tanks or whatever means you use, provided you can soak it in the water. The process of watering does not matter, but what matters is how that substrate will get water.
So the water runs the whole time?
The water runs the whole time, because in order to start the first process of this, you cannot put any ingredients unless you water the wheat straw. Now the whole process, you need to water daily. For example, ours they run throughout the night, these sprinklers, so that they might have plenty of water, so that we may start now the process. When we start the first process of pre-wetting, it might take a duration of maybe 1 week or maybe less than a week. It matters on how you are going to water your substrate. Now after watering, that's when you have checked your substrate and you have verified that it has plenty of water, or the water is it has got the water. Now is when we start now the process. Now we say the first process is called mix piring. Now you start adding the nutrients of the mushrooms. Now we add nutrients such like urea, such like cottonseed cake. Most of them we say, for example, the urea it releases the ammonia gas, so that it helps in the process of decomposition. Now there are some others what we call the temperature boosters, because there are some bacteria which thrives in high temperatures. So in order for this substrate to be ready, those bacteria you need to feed them so that they release that temperature, so that it helps in decomposition. Now those bacteria, you need to add temperature boosters ingredients such like cottonseed cake, molasses, and such like. Those we add them so that they boost the temperature.
Is it specific, the cottonseed? You call them what?
Cottonseed cake.
Cottonseed cake.
Yes.
Where do you get them from?
Most of them we get them from local people, agrovets.
Oh, okay.
Though here in Kenya, most of the farmers they don't grow cotton, but they get them from those who have that stock. They get them from Tanzania or the Uganda people. As we are turning, that's when we keep on adding those ingredients.
Daily?
Not daily. You take at least 48 hours in order. For example, like that substrate you can see there, we mixed it yesterday, and tomorrow we are going to add that cottonseed cake. So we just keep a day in order to add another ingredient.
So what makes it turn to that color, like from the original?
From the original.
It's the red.
Yeah, When we say we are mixpiring, now the decomposition is taking place. Okay. There are some micro and macro organisms which attack the substrate. Now it keeps on, as it is boosted by that temperature. Now that heat automatically make that substrate turn from its original color now to turn to the color that you need in order for you to plant. Okay. Or to be ready. Yeah. Now, when the substrate is ready, it turns into dark brown. As you can see now, yes, it has already turned into dark brown. And also these whitish things, this you can see, those are the things that we call the fungi, the actinomycetes. They are the actinomycetes. Yeah. They are the bacteria that we check so that you'll be able to know the best quality of the substrate. Now, when you check all the temperature, the pH, the texture of the substrate, now the substrate is ready within a duration of 1 month. The whole process of decomposition takes a duration of 1 month. And when it is ready is when we get the seed, the spawn from South Africa. Currently we are getting from South Africa, though we have some other agents who buy the seeds and we get the seed from them. And then after getting the seed from South Africa, we plant the substrate. Now we put it, we mix it as we continue planting, we mix it with that substrate, that spawns. Now we put it inside the polythene papers and then we place them inside the dark room.
Why is it necessary to put them in a polythene paper?
The reason why I put it in the polythene paper, particularly the clear paper, is because inside the dark room there are some activities that we check. For example, we check how the growth of the seed or the spawn. You need to check how the seed is growing. Also, there are some pathogens which affect that seed of mushroom or the spawn. Now you need to check when you use the clear polythene paper. You might be able to check to know whether there are some pathogens which are affecting your substrate. Yeah, and also inside the polythene paper, you know, the spawn, in order for it to do well, it needs a certain temperature. The optimum temperature is 25 degrees centigrade. So when you put it inside the polythene, you might be able to maintain temperature in that polythene paper so that the seed will be able to germinate well, or to colonize in mushroom terminologies. Yeah. Now the seed might be able to colonize well. Okay. And then we put them inside the dark room. Oh. Yeah.
So in the dark room now, how long does this take for? So it doesn't matter how many spawns are in the polythene bag?
No, does not matter. You know, the mushroom seed does not germinate. They form a web. Okay. That's why you cannot be able to count that you have put such an amount of seeds in one bag. Because
so
all
they grow
those
from the bags inside?
Yes.
And then you open the bags? Or what happens?
Inside the dark room, the seed will start the seed forms the carbon dioxide, because in a dark room you need to build a dark room in such a way you'll be able to monitor the temperature, because in order for this seed to do well, it needs a certain temperature in order for it to do well. So it grows well, or it dries well in a dark room. Okay. Yeah.
So how long does it take to grow?
Now,
the mushroom in the bag?
Now, inside the dark room, it takes a duration of 2 weeks, and then you start detecting now we say the mycelium of the seed. Now the seed produces the mycelium. That colony is called the mycelium. The whitish colony is called the mycelium. Now the seed releases that colony is what we call the mycelium. It takes a duration of 2 weeks for it to colonize in a well. When it grows well in that duration of 2 weeks, automatically it gives you the best production or the best yield. give you the good yield. So you need to build your the dark room in a good way so that you'll be able to monitor that temperature of 25. So immediately after planting, it takes a duration of those 2 weeks, as I was saying, and then we get this the soil from the forest. We see the virgin soil. Now, the reason why we use we use the maram, and also we can use even the lime in order to regulate the pH of that soil, because the soil need to have the neutral of the acid in order not to squelch the seed. So we might use we mix the soil with the lime and also the maram.
So after what point do you harvest now? After those 2 weeks, do you harvest
now
them?
After those duration of 2 weeks, we get the seed, the soil from the forest, and then there is a way we treat it in order to kill all the living organisms. And then after doing that process, we put it on top of that polythene bag which we have put the substrate, because in order for each and every seed to grow, they grow in the soil. Now is when we say that the fertilization of mushroom spawn takes place in between the soil. So that's why we need to put the soil. Now we say the virgin soil because the other soils, due to the cultivation, mushroom is a fungi, and the soil that we use due to the chemical reaction might harm the seed of the mushroom. That's why we get the soil from the forest, and then we put on top of that polythene bag, and then it takes a duration of another 2 weeks, so that the fertilization of mushroom seed takes place in between the soil. And then when the fertilization has taken place, immediately after the third week, or the third week after putting the soil, is when we start detecting some pinheads of mushrooms. And then when the pinheads you detect the pinheads, automatically it won't take a long time when you see the mushrooms, the mature mushrooms. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Welcome back to Hela Mchangani. Today we are talking about mushroom farming, and we're at the Dells farm, and we're joined by Daniel Rotich, who is the founder of this farm, and he'll be giving us an overview of mushroom farming and the other products that he grows. Thank you, Daniel Rotich, for joining us today.
Welcome. Welcome to Dells farm. Dells farm, we started seriously on mushrooms about 3 years ago. And the way it came up is I worked for a research institution called Kenya Agricultural Research Institute. And some time ago, I was training farmers in Kakamega to do mushrooms. And later on, I realized there's a lack of knowledge about mushroom in general. So we decided to start here and do it twofold. One, to do it commercially, and two, to do it as a way of training the community also to do mushrooms, because in this local area, the farmers strictly do maize and wheat and dairy. So we want to introduce some diversification in terms of farming. So we thought we would do mushroom farming. Secondly, we are very close to our Eldoret International Airport, and so far we don't have a lot of farm produce that is taken from this airport. And we are thinking in the future we should introduce some farm produce that can be airlifted to the neighboring countries. We are thinking mainly about the Israel area, Dubai, where the market for mushrooms is found. But the challenge about that market is the productivity, the volume. We need to produce enough volume and sustain it. So here in Dale's farm, we saw that opportunity, and we are saying we want to train the farmers within the community so that we can have a critical volume in terms of mushroom production that we can be able to now look for the outside market so that we can be able to sustain it, because the market is there, but sustainability is a problem.
Do you think there's a need for mushrooms here in Kenya before we start exporting?
There is a need for mushrooms currently. What we are producing now, we are selling it locally here. We are selling it to our supermarkets. We are selling it in Nairobi, and we are selling it in Mombasa. Okay. And so far, even right now, we don't have enough.
Okay. Yeah. I've talked to some of the mushroom farmers before, and they've said the market, especially if you're giving them to supermarkets, it's not that viable. What could be the challenge, and how does it work for you?
I think the challenge for the markets, this is a perishable product. You need to produce it, and it needs to get to the market the day you are produced. So the challenge would be the distances from the market and the transportation aspect. So, but we have gone around it because we transport our mushrooms at night so that the heat is reduced. It gets to the market in the morning when it is still fresh. So, and then it is the packaging also might be an issue in some of the farmers, because they can package and then they transport it in some very hot or high temperature vehicles. So the transporting could be a challenge, and the distance from the market. So for us, so far, we have not had that problem, because we have designed ourselves such that we take our mushrooms, we harvest during the day, and we transport them during the night to the various markets. Okay. Yeah.
Let's talk about mushrooms. Is one of your main source of income for Dale's farm.
Yeah.
You produce about how many kilos per day, and how much do you sell, say, per packet or per kilo?
Yes. Currently, we are producing on the average 30 kilos per day, but we actually want to raise it up to about 100 kilos per day. But we are we are extending our production rooms. But currently it's between 30 to 50 kilos per day. And the market currently fluctuates in terms of pricing. So we can sell it from 600 shillings per kilo to 1,000 shillings per kilo currently. So it depends on the time when the demand is very high.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Through this journey, what are some of the challenges that you've been through that you'd advise a farmer who's starting mushroom farming, so that they can probably avoid that?
Yeah, the challenges, the main challenge is the availability of water throughout, and then availability of the raw materials like the wheat straw, and then the rooms, the planting rooms have to be such that you can do proper cleaning and disinfection. We have to disinfect the rooms, because the mushroom is very susceptible to various also diseases and germs. So you need a very hygienic environment to really grow the mushroom. So that would be one challenge, which in most cases, most farmers, they will have that challenge of hygiene. So for us, we have tried to avoid it by now. We started from mud houses, where we are using mud walls. Yeah. But when we saw the challenge of the cleaning and disinfecting the rooms, we now changed into some permanent units where the cleaning now is more appropriate.
Okay.
Yes.
For a farmer who would like to start, is it easy to start in terms of financial availability of monies?
Yeah, well, it is yes and no. One, it doesn't really cost a lot to start. I think the cost would be would go more into the training aspect, because the challenge would be you really need to know what you are doing. It will be much easier because most farmers, when they start and they fail, they don't try it again. But in most cases, it is the lack of knowledge. So it needs a little bit of the technical know-how in the processes until the production line. So I would only say the main challenge for the starters, they need to know exactly what is required. They need to know about mushroom, because it is not like a mushroom doesn't have a seed as such. We use what we call spawn, and the spawn produces what is called mycelium, and at the end of it, that is where the mushroom comes. So if the farmers don't really understand how to handle that part, they may not get any mushroom, and they easily give up. So that would be the challenge. It's just the knowledge. Okay. Yeah.
How much do you sell this packet?
This package is anywhere from, we sell it from 200 to 300 shillings. As I said, the market fluctuates. Okay. Like we can sell today 200 shillings this. Tomorrow, when we get to the market, it is 300 shillings. So it fluctuates. So, but on the average, we will talk about 200 shillings per panel. Right. Yes. Okay. And the dry ones, this is dry mushrooms, we sell 100 grams for 300 shillings. This is 250 grams for 200 shillings, fresh. Yes.
Wow, okay. So these ones, the fresh ones have to be sold that same day, or else?
No, they can actually, the shelf life can go up to even a week if it is refrigerated. Okay. Yeah, it can put in the refrigeration system, and then it can stay fresh up to a week. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Daniel Rotich, for that information. I'm sure enough farmers have learned.
Okay, thank you.
Farming is business. Well, that's it for Hela Mchangani here in Uasin Gishu County. We hope that you have learned a lot from the farmers here who have committed and have the patience to grow their products. I have been your host, Wari Mombogwa. Join me next time, same time, in a different location.